Get in the spirit of Black History Month at the 2026 Black Expo. That's coming up this weekend at the Orchard Mall. The countdown is on, and there will be plenty of everything to explore on Saturday afternoon all over West Bloomfield's very own enclosed mall. That includes how faith connects our community. Joining me with insight on those connections is the senior pastor at Covenant Baptist Church in West Bloomfield, Reverend Jabulani McCalister. Reverend McCalister, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me again, Tyler. Appreciate it.
Happy to have you on as we get ready for the Black Expo, because there's so much that's going to be there, all these different events, all these different vendors, businesses, shops that are going to be there. But faith plays a huge part in building connections of our community, whether you're practicing Christianity, Judaism, Islam, or any other of the many religions that make up our community. From your side, being part of our local clergy here in Greater West Bloomfield, how does faith build in to community building?
Faith builds in because it offers a sense of hope, and especially in times where there's great despair happening, there's great vision. I think that having a centering focus on faith and people of faith coming together, it helps us to renew our hope and the decency of humanity, and those of us that believe that God is our centering force. It helps us bring us together.
And there's so many different faith communities in Greater West Bloomfield. That's what is part of what makes this community so special, is that people from all different backgrounds, people from all different faiths, all different practices can call this place home and can coexist with so many other people. Our community is that shining example. And so for you and other faith leaders in the community, how do you communicate on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis to provide that sense of cohesion between your organizations that ultimately gets out into the wider community?
Well, one of the ways in which I do that personally is I meet with the Greater West Bloomfield Faith and Clergy Alliance, which is our new name. I know it's a mouthful, but it's a bunch of different community leaders and different faith leaders that come together and share what we have going on in our organizations and our faith traditions, and we support each other to have a tangible witness and showing of the unity that's possible, even if we have diametrically different ways of looking at theology and just all kinds of things. But it's a way of showing some solidarity in our community to let people know that it is possible to be together, even when you don't necessarily believe the exact same thing. You can find some commonalities and some common ground to make a community vibrant.
The Black Expo is happening on Saturday, February 21st, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Orchard Mall in West Bloomfield. Over 70 different vendors will be there, including Reverend Jabulani McCalister from Covenant Baptist Church, connecting faith to Black History Month and to our community. Faith often is so much about uniting a group of people in your church or in that church wider community, or connecting the church community to other aspects. As we celebrate Black History Month, and particularly the journey of Black Americans on their path to the freedoms they have today and the freedoms that are still necessary to seek for greater equity and equality in our community, how does faith factor into helping the wider community bring those steps forward even more beyond the month of February?
So one of the ways in which Covenant Baptist Church has done that is making sure that we're involved in activities like this. One of my predecessors actually started our engagement in the community in this way and started celebrating Black History Month, because most people don't realize it. But Covenant Baptist Church is not a quote unquote Black church as people think, because I'm the pastor. As an African American, I'm actually the first Black pastor they've ever had since its inception in 1894. It's been in West Bloomfield since 1974. But like I said, my immediate predecessor knew that it was important to reach out, especially as more African American and those of African descent members started joining the church. He began to open the doors up and reach out to them in these ways to show the support. So not just inside the church, but connecting with the community as well, to let people know that we're there. You know, with some people, they drive by in our location right there on Maple between Orchard Lake and Farmington, and the way that it's situated, you wouldn't necessarily know it's a church there. Most people just think that we're preschool. But when they discover that we're a church and we have something to offer, they come in. But we continue to reach out in these ways. Like I said, that community group I'm a part of, intentionally coming to Black Expos to make sure that we have that exposure.
Reverend Jabulani McCalister is with us from Covenant Baptist Church in West Bloomfield. He'll be at the 2026 Black Expo on Saturday, February 21st. Stop by his position there and have a nice conversation with him. And Reverend, at an event like that, it's so busy, it's so loud, it's so packed, there's so much action going on. People may look at that from the outside looking in and say, well, how is talking to one of our local pastors, one of our local faith leaders, really going to be an effective thing that we can do there? Or maybe I don't practice Christianity. What am I going to get out of this station? For those that may not know what they could get out of speaking to you or other faith leaders at this particular event, why should they still consider stopping by your desk and getting to meet you and your team?
Well, because we offer a lot of different services through our church in particular, and other churches and faith leaders do as well. And so one of the reasons why we reach out in these ways is because we know that a lot of people may not practice our faith tradition, or they may not be able to get to our service per se, but having a person that is able to speak to what we actually do and who we actually are breaks down some of those barriers of assumptions and unrealistic expectations of what the quote unquote church is. And so having me and some of my team there, we'll have resources like our emergency food pantry that we have, that people come and check us out and they were able to get resources and different things. We have a lot of children programming. Like I said, we have our preschool. I'm coming again to have a book signing with my book, Hope Beyond Hope, to have some tools beyond just the expo on a Sunday morning, and just making sure that they know that even though they may not practice what I do, we're still here for the community.
And it's a great way to bridge some of those gaps, to create some commonality and some connections between people of all different areas of our community, all different communities within the greater West Bloomfield area and across our multi-faith community here in greater West Bloomfield. Reverend McCalister, before I let you go, what lessons do you believe people can take from the overall act of the 2026 Black Expo? Having so many people in the same place from all different walks of life, from in greater West Bloomfield and outside of greater West Bloomfield, seeing a bunch of different activities, a bunch of different ways people get involved and getting a chance to learn. How can that be beneficial for people to practice outside of this week's Saturday, outside of this event, and outside of Black History Month?
Because the Expo, I believe, gives a microcosm or a taste test, if you will, of the larger impact that African Americans have had in our country, from inventions to beyond just faith traditions and just all kinds of things that African Americans have contributed to being a part of this country that most people wouldn't necessarily have access to. But this is a jump off point for them to go deeper with their appetite, if you will, to find out even more of the enriched opportunity they would have to interact with African Americans and African American culture. Because as you said, we have a very diverse community. Our church in particular is very diverse. I know that others may be more monolithic in terms of who goes there, but we are very intentional about highlighting not only African American culture, but because we have other races, ethnicities that go to our church in particular, we make sure that we highlight those as well. But like I said, because there's been such a concerted effort lately to really erase Black culture, it's important for us to have these kinds of things so people will know the importance of African Americans also in this country.
One of the many great things about the greater West Bloomfield community is the exposure to so many different cultures, so many different walks of life, and it gives people, as you even mentioned there, Reverend McCalister, a sense of belonging and a sense of understanding of different experiences that maybe you don't have each and every day. Thank you so much for your time today, and we'll see you on Saturday at the Black Expo.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.